So what is the educational system like? I'm sure that there are drawbacks and they definitely must be like good ones.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Comfort Oladayo Adegbenro, and this video is a continuation of the Study in Luxembourg series, talking about the social life, the educational system, bringing your dependents to Luxembourg, life after study, getting job opportunities, and the important and relevant things you need to know before traveling to Luxembourg. Do stay tuned and remember to subscribe and share this video to somebody.
So basically, I would say, first of all, educational system in Luxembourg is intense. Yeah.
I think Europe generally.
Because people is like, when you go to UK or US or Canada, you can work while you're studying. But Nigerians, obviously, we know we have the strengths, we have the vibe to work, and but no, on the norms, like
it's hard.
It's really difficult when you're having 10 courses in the semester. Am I in bachelor's? Like,
really?
Like
10 courses.
10 courses, like my department, first semester was 10 courses straight. Yeah. Is intense. So I would say the educational system in Luxembourg is intense, right? And also, when it comes to the language, initially I said something about you need to understand if your courses are taught plainly in English. So if it's not like if it's taught in English, I wouldn't say there will be much of a barrier.
I'm talking about like maybe community or something.
Oh, okay. So when it comes to yeah, I get your point now. So when it comes to language barrier, initially I said Luxembourg is a multilingual country, right? They speak minimum 4 languages: French, English, German, and Luxembourgish. I don't know. When it comes to like in the educational system, I won't say it's much of a barrier, but when it comes to like job search, living in the country, I would say there's a form of limitation. Yes, there's a bit of limitation, right? Okay. Because if you're applying for some jobs, let me give you just a short scenario. If you're applying for a job, you have 2 applicants. One can speak the languages, even if they don't need the language, and you can just because even if the country or the company does not need the language for anything, but
they would think long term.
Yeah,
competitive advantage.
Yeah. But also it depends on the career course, because for my own career line is finance, mostly is English. I don't really have much of the barrier. Yes, because I work in an Italian company, they won't tell you must speak Italian.
True. Because Italian language is not even one of the top languages.
So just imagine I'm working in a French company. Most of the time they ask for it. Because it's not about you working, it's all about you also communicating with your colleagues and communicating with your client. So it doesn't matter, like people like in the engineering, they usually require. So I would say there's a bit of language barrier, but it's not in all totality, but there's a bit of language barrier.
But you can still find your way around.
You can still find your way around, basically, yes.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So it's not like in France whereby they speak French.
Or in Italy.
Yeah, so it's really very difficult. But in Luxembourg, you have options. You can speak German, French, but Luxembourgish and English, yeah. But there's a barrier.
You said that the coursework is kind of intense.
Yeah.
So, but it's worth it, right, in the long run? Or do you think some things should be cut off? Like, let's be frank.
I'm a student. I would say obviously they should cut it off, but I would say it's worth it because for me I would say there are some, normally they'll tell you this, there are some things I should not be learning in school because they're not practicable, but for me I would say they are, because they're trying to make you understand, like, because even in my course of study I had different, maybe because I'm in the finance industry. Luxembourg is known as a finance hub country, right? It favors more of those in finance. I don't know if it's necessary for you to, but
I think it's a good one too.
Because Luxembourg
we'll still go to the part of jobs.
Yes. Okay, let me just put it for the part of the jobs. We're talking about if it was intense. So I would say generally some courses are not required, but some you just have to do. But generally it's intense. It's not so easy for you to manage. Okay, because we have 15 hours to work as a student per week. It's just 15 hours. You're allowed to work. Either you do a menial job or you apply for research assistant to your department, depending on what you get. Basically, but it's not so easy managing your courses and
doing 15 hours per week.
Yes, yeah, per week, yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much, Faith.
Thank you so much.
So I wanted to ask about like the student life, like social life, community, and all of that. You already briefly mentioned that there's you have 15 hours like to work, and it's intense, so it might be hard to combine that.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry, before the question, you were asking pros and cons. I didn't say something for the pros and the cons.
Okay.
Sorry if I'm scratching your video for you.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So basically, when it comes to like the advantage or disadvantage of Luxembourg, I'll list the advantages for me staying in Luxembourg. First of all, Luxembourg, which I know is, like I said, is from the beginning, is like the school fees is cheap, so it's easy for you to be admitted. You can even do self-funding. Like school also for me is a very good advantage, right? And also secondly, I would say Luxembourg has free transportation system, which is a very good, like
for everybody
in the country.
Way.
Yeah. So because I remember when I went to France, within 3 days I spent in France, I spent up to more or less like 50 euros. So just imagine what I would have spent within 2 years.
If you go to UK, you will spend more than that with the train.
Luxembourg is free accommodation, free transportation, free transportation system. The whole of Luxembourg being and also if you're a student less than 26 years, you're allowed discounts for some things. 26 years and below, you're allowed for probably want to watch something or you want to go to a park or something, you're paying. Once you are below 26 years, you're given a discount, and most times it can be free. If you're going to a museum or something, it can be free for you. And also one of the advantage I would say, that's like the advantages. Then one of the major drawback for me, like we said, also the language barrier, which is also one of the issue. And secondly, also a drawback, the accommodation. If you're lucky,
I was going to ask that, but talk about it.
Yes. So if you're lucky to get accommodation in the student residence, despite the fact that the tuition fee is cheap, the accommodation is kind of expensive, right? So if you're lucky to get a student accommodation, relatively, on average, the student accommodation is 450-500 euros per month. So it's quite high per month. Yeah, it's quite high. But people get as low as 300
outside.
Euros. Yeah, no, don't call outside, please, because outside is very expensive. Very expensive. Luxembourg has a high standard of living, very expensive.
Wow.
So I'm talking about being a student, you go as high as 500, 550. I think I've heard of somebody that is paying 600 and maybe more for being a student, right? Because me, I'm currently paying 400 per month, and you have 6 months in a semester, so you are paying less too. And private accommodation is really expensive. Like,
that's outside, right?
Outside, that's the private market. It's out very expensive. For my studio, like where I'm staying, I'm paying 400. I can see it as 800. Yes, it's really expensive. So,
but you're staying in the school accommodation.
Yeah, I'm staying in student accommodation. So you just have to get student accommodation. But even if you don't get when you come in your first semester, within 1, 2, 3 months, they'll put on your waiting list and they'll give you accommodation.
So that means you have to stay outside, or maybe
you can stay with somebody, Nigerians.
So just stay with somebody.
Yeah, or you can get a private market for within 1 month or 2 months. Then you apply on the waiting list and you get your accommodation before the first semester rolls that you should be able to get something.
So do you apply for accommodation like from the website and before you leave Nigeria?
Yes, you have. When it comes to I think the application for accommodation opens within 1st of July. 1st of July, because when your deadline is your deadline for application is April. They start dishing out admission June. Then I think we already know your status if you're applying, if you are coming in or not. Then July they open the application for accommodation. Then you start applying. First come, first serve. That's the rule of the game. But I think they also have priorities for third nationals because they believe Europeans, you can stay outside of Luxembourg, right? But for third nationals, we can't stay. So I think they prioritize people on scholarship and people on third nationals. They prioritize them.
But really, for a studio apartment, 400, 500 euros. Studio has your room, your kitchen, your bedroom, like...
No. The studio for me is like my bathroom is in my room, but
the kitchen is not there.
No, the kitchen, I share the kitchen with like 4 other persons or 5 or 6 persons.
That means it's just a regular student hostel. I was thinking when you said studio,
so we
maybe
still have
has like...
but that can be as high as 700, yes, that you have your kitchen,
Yeah, that's like the range.
Yes,
like 700. Yeah. Well, that's not bad. So thank you so much, Faith.
Yeah. Thank you.
So like, what is like the social life there? Is it easy to find a church like for Christians, and is it easy to like, relate like communities? Like, would you get bored? Those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. When it comes to Luxembourg social life, I would say Luxembourg is boring. Yeah. Wow. It's just like let me use something that is well known, like Lagos. Oh no, let me not use Lagos. It's just like saying people come to Luxembourg because they have a lot of job opportunities. During the weekends, they are out to other countries to have fun. During the vacations, they are going to other countries to have fun. So generally, Luxembourg. I'm not a social person. Like I hardly go out. Yeah, but I can tell Luxembourg is but there are people that go to clubs, that go to night. They have a good nightlife because they have other people that they'll meet up with and the lives. But Luxembourg is boring. Really? When it comes to the church, we have quite a number of churches, but they are always in the city. Right. But I would say for me personally, it's not so easy going, except you have a car. But going to the city on Sunday is not really very comfortable because buses are not regular, trains are cancelled on a Sunday. So before you think your life of going on, but God, you are prioritizing God, but it's not so easy, sincerely. But there are churches and you can pray, you can meet up with people. There are sites you can go to. I think Facebook is a place whereby you can have a lot of groups, Luxembourg Expert, Luxembourg for jobs, for menial jobs, for people meeting like lunch, picnic, a lot of different.
And maybe your friends in schools too, and maybe like societies in the university.
Yes. And when it comes to Nigerian society, like social life in Luxembourg, it's amazing. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, it's amazing because we are creating. No, because we're creating. Recently, we created a body called I think Nigerian Student Association in Luxembourg. So we created it. It's official now. So we have access to things that we can have access to other things. We can organize football together. We can organize. I think last time we organized a football tournament. We played with other African countries. So we can organize gala night. There was one time we organized a gala night. We came together, and sometimes we can just organize game night. I think there's a time the boys played ball together. So the Nigerian social community is really it's growing. And I like the connections, and even people that have been here also try to help people that are just coming in, probably when it comes to trying to settle down, accommodation, feeding, your academics. So we are really growing that social life, and I'm really it's amazing, and I really like it, and I'm looking forward to more Nigerians coming in. I'm talking about other African countries because I know of some Ghanaians that are also connected, some Cameroonians. They are connected, but I'm speaking of Nigeria. It's really growing and it's really amazing.
That's beautiful. So you mentioned about the job, not job. You mentioned about accommodation already. For the standard of living, do you think feeding is cheap or is just average?
No. Okay.
Feeding is not cheap.
No. So
sorry. Also for the accommodation, is it bills inclusive?
Bills maybe other charges.
Maybe do you pay for water, electricity separately, or everything is included in that?
Well, being a student or when you're no longer, I think being a student, right?
Being a student, yeah.
Okay. Let me start with this. Luxembourg is, I think, the second richest country in the world based on their GDP per capita, right? It's really expensive. Their standard of living is high compared to other European countries, because I know of some people that go to France, maybe it's very close to buy some shopping because it's really cheap there, right? So standard of living is quite expensive. But the amazing thing is when you start working, it's relative to it. Their salaries related to their standard of living. But being a student is quite expensive, right? Then the water, the bill, the electricity is embedded in your cost of accommodation. So you're not paying anything, your rent. So you're not paying anything extra.
So like in a month, like how much on average can you spend to buy food?
To buy food, it depends on if you're a foodie.
No, I get it. And some persons eat out, some persons would love to make people. Just on average, is 100 euros going to be enough?
Yeah, well, let me say 150, 100 to 150 euros.
100 to 150.
Yeah, if you're not the foodie, you should.
Good. That's good. Okay, thank you so much, Faith.
Yeah.
And I think we are moving towards the end.
Yeah, okay.
So, what job opportunities like available like after study, and do you have to go back to Nigeria immediately, or are you allowed to like maybe a year to look for a job, and are there like good job opportunities for like students depending on their program or something? Yeah. Okay.
So I think this is where I should say the part of Luxembourg is the finance, say favors more of the finance. Okay. So when it comes to the job opportunities after studies, so basically when I came, we had 9 months. So immediately after your studies, we had 9 months to search for a job or get employed or something to stay back in the country, like a company that's going to sponsor your visa. But recently, I think a month or 2 months ago, it was increased to 1 year.
Oh.
Yes. So the thing is, how policies can be. You don't know if it's going to affect us that have been here or is a new set.
Oh no.
That is what we don't know. Do you understand? But but now it's currently 1 year. So I don't know if it's going to be affecting me using the 1 year as like I was already here, or it's going to be the 9 months. So we're still looking at that. So basically we have 1 year to search for jobs to be able to stay back in Luxembourg, right? So when it comes to the job opportunities, right, there are a lot of job opportunities, right? But apart from finance, anybody in the finance industry, like other industries like the HR, the engineering, they might have some form of limitations like languages, like certifications and the likes, right? But when I'm talking about finance, because I'm in the finance industry, Luxembourg is known as the finance hub of Europe. In the sense that they have a lot of financial companies in Luxembourg, investment fund companies, real estate, like the big fours and the like. So when people in the finance industry, like economics, finance, accounting, audit, we tend to have access to job faster. That does not mean it's very easy, but faster in comparison to other departments. So when I tell people that are doing the account, I'm always advising them to come over. But people in other industry, I'm like, just the way it is in UK and US is something like how you can sell yourself to the job market, right? But for the finance, it's also easy because we don't usually have language barriers, although they'll tell you French and German is another advantage. But any interviewer is ready to interview if you have other qualifications, other degree and experience, right? So when I say for the job opportunity, it favors, I would say explicitly, it favors more the finance industry. That does not mean other industry does not have access to jobs, please.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would say favor more of the people in the finance. Like I said, everybody have different experience and different experience basically. Yeah, so but I favor more of the finance because they have a lot of finance industries in Luxembourg.
So that's a good one, really. It's just left for you to weigh your options and know what works for you. And most importantly, let God direct you. Don't just say because you want to, I don't know about others, but okay, maybe some persons might find it hard to believe this, but most times when you are even planning to go outside of the country, you have to involve God to like lead you and direct you to which not all opportunities are good opportunities, and that's true. When people say things like, "Oh, this person is out of the country," it's not necessarily because of person just applied. Sometimes it's very, very much important, for God to lead you to the right place.
Yeah.
So that's just
it's really very important. Because you can be in finance and God is saying, you should not be in Luxembourg. Like, oh, my friend says come to Luxembourg because
exactly.
You might come here and 1 year you're not getting anything, and your other friends are getting within 3
That's just
months, and you're like, what's going on? Like I said, everybody experience is different.
It's different. Thank you so much, Faith. So I think the last question I'll be asking in relation to like the application is, sometimes some persons are married before they like apply for graduate school and all of that, and they have kids, or maybe, even if they're not married, maybe they have like their fiance or fiancé back home. So like, are there like opportunities for dependents to come down and join them, like maybe as a master's student? Or maybe graduate student generally? I forgot to ask if PhD opportunities exist, but I would assume maybe they should also be PhD opportunities.
Yes, we have bachelor's, master's, PhD, and other specialized.
Okay.
Yes, but PhD have their own.
So for the different
process, but bachelor's is more like masters, but PhD totally different.
It's different. So like for dependents, like is it possible for masters, or maybe for example, now I know some countries like Italy and Poland, in the last interview I had with my colleagues, it's easier for PhD students to bring over their dependents compared to masters. Even in Italy, you can't really bring in your dependents, but places like I think UK, US, your dependents can like easily come over without any restriction of the kind of like level of study, because sometimes they regard PhD as a job, but masters is not really a job.
Student. Yes, you're correct. For me, I would prefer saying I don't have much knowledge about it than saying wrong information. But I can share you a link that you can add to the channel for them to because I remember when they shared it to the Nigerian side, like the Nigerians saying that dependent are allowed, but we're saying that the criteria, so it was still like shaky. It was like a policy we don't know if they've stamped it yet or not, so I can't. Yes, but I don't think it's easy, but please, I don't want to give that information, but I can share you the link where this was stated.
That's fine. That's
some people can read about it, but I don't know much about it, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you so much. So what advice would you like to give to people that are coming over, like maybe trying to plan to apply, and and it just not random, what can you like advise maybe in the application process, and how should they prepare their minds even as they are coming over?